Yo, what's going on guys, Dubwobs here. Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Today, we're going to look at some secret changes in Season 2. From complete hero buffs that went unmentioned in the patch notes, brand new features added to the game, and even some strange bugs that affect brand new hero abilities in Season 2. And the first thing I want to show you is the secret Spider-Man buff. There's definitely a Spider-Man main on the dev team just slipping in hidden buffs for this guy, going completely under the radar, because they've completely changed Spider-Man's movement, and if you're a Spider-Man main, you'll probably start noticing it. So, they've changed his momentum when he swings into a wall. Because in Season 1, if you web towards a wall like this, you would lose pretty much all momentum and fall to the ground. However, in Season 2, if you web swing into a wall, your momentum will be conserved and you will just slide along the surface. So if you do this against a flat wall, then you'll just kind of ping off the wall and glide across it, and you can actually use this to bunny hop. You don't have to use a web cluster to bunny hop, you can just ping off the wall and then conserve your momentum, jumping at the right time and using the bunny hops to your advantage without having to use a web cluster, which you'd previously have to do if you wanted to bunny hop with Spider-Man. So being able to carry this much momentum from simply swinging into a wall is huge. And this can be used in some very unique ways. First of all, it also will carry momentum around curved surfaces. So for example, this area in the firing range, if you web into it, you'll just swing around the entire semicircular shape and come flying out the other end. But if you decide to do it on a surface that's curved like this, you can swing right into the wall and you'll bounce off of it. And if you hit this in the sweet spot, you can just go flying in the other direction, once again, without having to use a web cluster, and it just adds way more movement to Spider-Man's arsenal. Now, of course, there are going to be plenty of Spider-Man movement gods that are going to go absolutely crazy with this. And if you're someone who despises Spider-Man in this game, well, things just got worse for you. Now, I'm not someone who mains Spider-Man. I definitely don't know every single bit of movement tech that can be done with Spider-Man, but I do know that this alters things quite a lot. I saw a really good video about this from Agni Kaya. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And he also goes to mention that doorway setups are also changed. So this used to be really easy. In Season 1, if you swing into a door, you'll then lose your momentum, and then you can hit enemies with a combo, whereas now in Season 2, if you hit the edge of a doorway, you will just conserve your momentum and go absolutely flying, and you can see that in his video. Now, after playing around with this some more, I found that if you stand right up against the wall that you're going to web into, there's way more chance of it launching you backwards and up in the air like this, and once again, I feel like this could be used in a very creative way, and once you really get the feel for how this tech works, it does make playing Spider-Man even more fun, and it allows you way more opportunity for movement. So just go right up against the wall and just web it in slightly different angles, and you'll see how it reacts depending on the nature of the surface, and there's a very good chance that you get launched miles into the air, ready to seek out your next target. So overall, they've basically reworked Spider-Man's movement, and I think overall this is definitely still a secret buff. The amount of momentum you can carry by just pinging off walls, it's actually really fun. Go and try it in the firing range. Even if you're not a Spider-Man main, there's definitely potential there. Now, if you're someone who plays with a controller, you may have noticed things have felt a little bit weird with your movement in Season 2. Now, you may find that you feel a lot slower and more sluggish when you're moving because your character sort of accelerates slowly. Well, this is something a lot of people have noticed, and there's actually a setting that's been added in Season 2 that you definitely want to alter to make sure the game feels exactly how you want it. Head over to the controller setting and go to combat. Now, in the character movement input dead zone settings, you can change the min input dead zone and the max input dead zone. Now, these are automatically set to 20 and 5, but if you want more snappy movement so that you're always moving as fast as possible, then you want to lower the minimum input and increase the maximum input. For example, if you play characters like Spider-Man and you want your movement to be snappy, this should help that. However, if you're not as precise with your controller, then increasing the minimum input dead zone will allow it to be a bit more forgiving. For example, if you're running in a straight line and you don't have your left joystick perfectly going forwards, there's less chance of your character wiggling around. So what I'd say is jump in the firing range and change these settings and make sure the game feels natural to you, because this setting has definitely messed up a lot of people who play on controller. Hope this helps. Now, I also wanted to point out what seems to be a bug with Rocket's new healing, because you're probably aware that Rocket was changed in Season 2. His healing orbs now give you instant 50 HP when they come in contact with you, and then still passively heal as they glide by. Now, this instant 50 healing is only supposed to be applied once. If the orb then bounces and hits you again, you shouldn't receive the extra 50 health. It's a one-time healing. Well, it turns out if you bounce the healing orb off a surface close to the enemy that you're healing, then there's a very, very high chance that they'll be double healed and will receive 100 health. You can see on this bot, if I bounce the healing orb at the ground, literally at the bot's feet, they get the 50 health from the initial interaction, and then after it bounces, they just get another 50 health. So if it bounces in a short enough time and contacts your teammate again, they'll receive double healing. I'm sure this will be patched, but if you are playing Rocket, definitely keep this in mind because you might as well take advantage of the extra healing. Now, another hero that seems to have had a less fortunate secret change is Star-Lord. I don't know what they did, but it seems they've broken his movement a little bit. With his jetpacks, every now and then it seems like his jetpacks just lose all momentum and you just fall to the ground. Like he's got a giant weight attached to his ankles. Now, I've spent a while in the firing range and it seems to just happen randomly, but when you finish jetpacking, there's a chance that you'll kind of rubber band back or all your momentum will be killed. It feels really, really janky, and I believe this is a bug, but they were probably messing around with some movement values and this ended up happening. Let me know in the comments if you've had this issue as well. Now, another pretty cool quality of life feature that they added in Season 2 takes place in the main menu. In the main menu, you can choose a hero that you'd like to be featured on the play screen. And what's cool, in Season 2, you can now select different variants of the heroes. For example, Bruce Banner, you can now select Hulk or Monster Hulk, and he will be featured on your main menu screen. And this also works with magic. You can select Darkchild form so that you have Darkchild on the main menu screen when you load up Marvel Rivals, which I think is pretty damn awesome. They also allow you to now change the skin specifically for the featured character without having to change the actual skin you have selected with them, which I believe is a new feature, which is pretty nice. It's useless for the gameplay, but it's cool. Now, another quality of life change that they decided to update in Season 2 actually does affect the gameplay, but only in the firing range. They've finally made it so that if you turn on infinite cooldowns in the firing range, your ultimate will also have no cooldown. Before this, you'd still have to go to the ultimate charge pads. It was really annoying because you're supposed to have infinite cooldowns. Well, now if you want to infinitely test an ultimate ability, it works with infinite cooldowns and your ult recharges in an instant. Thank you, devs. This was really annoying. Now, the devs also changed the dimensions of a lot of characters in Marvel Rivals, something that probably won't affect the gameplay, and that's because they increased the size of all the male characters' behinds in Marvel Rivals. That's right. I'm not entirely sure the reasoning for this, and it'll be funny if the devs do respond because this is cooking up a bit of a storm on social media as people are now noticing characters like Wolverine, Star-Lord, Moon Knight, Bucky are all packing a little bit more. Unless they're planning on bringing the April Fool's emote to everyone next year, I'm not entirely sure why they did this. So there we go, that's all we have for today's video. The main thing I really wanted to show you was that Spider-Man change. It's interesting that such a huge thing has gone under the radar. But also, let me know in the comments if you found anything different in Season 2 that wasn't mentioned in any of the patch notes, because I'm sure there's plenty more out there, and I might end up doing a follow-up video, as I think over time we'll definitely discover more hidden changes. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.